Welcome, my friends. Gather around and listen closely. Today, we're unpacking an ancient text from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2. I'll be guiding you through this explainer, and I really want you to prepare your hearts, because we're stepping into a profound drama. It's a story of a deep, beautiful, ancient heartbreak, a tale of a love so pure and a betrayal so tragic that the echoes of it, well, they still resonate right in our bones today.
Okay, let's dive into this. Just consider this question for a second. Would you trade an endless, gushing fountain of pure, fresh water for a cracked, broken bucket made of dirt? A bucket that literally cannot even hold a single drop? Of course you wouldn't. It's madness, right? It's utterly ridiculous. And yet, this exact, absurd trade is the beating heart of the tragedy we're going to explore today.
Section 1. The Days of First Love. A Perfect Beginning.
You see, every great tragedy starts with a beautiful beginning, like a classic relationship arc. Listen to the warmth in these opening words. I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth, the love of thine espousals, when thou wentest after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown. Can you hear that deep affection? It's the voice of someone looking back at fond old memories, recalling the absolute trust of a young bride who willingly followed her protector right into the harsh, unknown wilderness.
Now notice that specific word there, espousals. In our everyday language today, we'd simply call this the honeymoon phase. You know, that time in a relationship where you are just completely devoted to each other. Israel was entirely focused on God. They had just been rescued, they were full of trust, and they eagerly followed him into a completely uncharted future. They were, as the text says, holiness to the Lord. We can actually track this journey visually. Notice how they start in Egypt where they're delivered. Then it's into the wilderness, a land of deserts and pits, a land of drought, just as the text describes it. But through all those trials, they follow, until finally, he brings them into a plentiful country, a lush, bountiful land to eat its fruit and goodness. They made it. The promise was fulfilled.
Section 2. The Broken Cisterns. The Ultimate Betrayal.
But once they actually arrived in that promised land, everything shattered. The betrayal is found right here in verse 13, and I want you to let these words land heavily upon you. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns, that can hold no water. Two specific evils. They didn't just walk away, they actively replaced absolute perfection with utter uselessness.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer foolishness of what they did. On the left side, you had the fountain of living waters, endless, fresh, completely reliable. But on the right, you have broken cisterns, man-made holes carved out of the dirt, cracked at the very bottom, and entirely incapable of holding even a single drop of water. They traded the ultimate source of life for dry, empty dirt. It is such a tragic, baffling exchange.
Section 3. Chasing After Illusions. The Frantic Search.
Because here is what happens. When you abandon the true source of water, panic sets in. The text uses these wild, vivid metaphors to paint a picture of this chaotic idolatry. It describes a swift camel running aimlessly back and forth, a wild donkey sniffing the wind, a thief caught red-handed and utterly shamed. It even describes people looking at a carved piece of wood and literally saying, "You are my father." It's frantic, right? It's completely instinct-driven, just irrational behavior born out of a desperate thirst.
Let's look a bit closer at this one specific, bizarre, ancient metaphor, a wild donkey sniffing the wind at her pleasure. Back in the ancient world, this was an image of an animal in heat, uncontrollably driven by its basic urges. But if we put that into modern terms, this reveals a profound psychological truth about desperation. When we lose our true anchor, we become driven by uncontrollable urges, chasing any fleeting illusion of satisfaction, no matter how degrading it might actually be.
Section 4. The Stains of Guilt. A Pointless Defense.
So instead of repenting, the guilty party tries to cover it up. And the imagery here is almost painful to imagine. For though thou wash thee with nitre and take thee much soap, yet thine iniquity is marked before me. Just picture it. Imagine someone desperately scrubbing at a stain on their hands, tearing at their own skin, but the stain simply will not fade away.
Now, to really understand how deep this stain is, we have to understand this word nitra. You see, this wasn't some gentle, everyday hand soap. This was ancient, heavy-duty industrial lye.
The text is basically saying that even if you use the most powerful abrasive chemical scrubbing agent in existence, the dark stain of your betrayal remains completely visible to the partner you've wronged. You simply cannot clean yourself of this guilt.
And then comes the ultimate insult, the absolute pinnacle of denial. Standing amidst the broken cisterns, with hands stained by heavy lie, the cheating partner looks right into the eyes of the one they betrayed and says, "Because I am innocent, surely his anger shall turn from me." Wow. It's a staggering refusal to take responsibility, claiming complete innocence while the evidence of their wandering is visible upon every high hill and under every green tree.
Section 5. The tragic reality. The final warning.
Actions, my friends, have inevitable consequences. The Lord asks them, "What are you doing going in the way of Egypt to drink the waters of Sihor, or to Assyria to drink from the river?" The declaration is plain and simple. The Lord hath rejected thy confidences, and thou shalt not prosper in them. Putting your faith in broken things, in empty alliances, well, it will only lead to one destination: shame, ruin, and walking away with your hands on your head in defeat. And so we arrive at the profound truth, the absolute key takeaway from this ancient text. Never trade the true, living source of fulfillment for broken things that can hold no water. I want you to think about this carefully. The things of this world that promise everything but deliver absolutely nothing, they're simply broken cisterns. So I leave you with this question to ponder long after this explainer ends. In the wilderness of your own life, from what broken bucket are you desperately trying to draw water today?